Hi there, it's me, Martin again. Thought I'd just take a couple minutes and go over something that I think is interesting, and that that I've just had come up with me again. And it brings up the subject of what is the most important thing that that you can ever learn how to do in your marketing. And the most important skill that you will ever learn is how to find the answer, because you're always going to run up to questions. You're always going to be moving along and have something go on and say, well, why did this happen? How do I fix it? Those are some of the most important questions you'll ever ask, and it's very, very crucial that you know how to go get the answers. Now, chances are you've probably already seen the answers to your questions. They just weren't questions when you saw the answers, so it wasn't something that stuck in your head. So the first thing that I would recommend is whatever you're doing, if you've got any kind of a training program, go and look through that training program again, because chances are pretty good if you're training in a certain area and you have a question in that area, somewhere in there in that training you'll have the answer, and you've probably already seen it. I know in my case I'd already seen the answers to my question at least twice. The only reason I didn't really twig to them is because at the time I saw them, I didn't have that question. That wasn't an issue. So I just looked at it. I kind of absorbed the information. It went in one ear, out the other, and I just kind of knew that it was in there somewhere. So what I wound up doing is going back over and finding the exact training that I needed to answer my question, and I went through it again. And this time I went through it with a very specific question in mind, and looking for a very specific answer. And so far I'm about halfway through it, and I think I've got 6 pages of notes that I've taken on that. And this is a training that I've already seen twice, but it wasn't as relevant at the time because I wasn't looking for that question. I had other things that had to come before I got to that issue, and that's I guess that's the thing that I'm trying to get across is if you go through any kind of a training program, you'll have answers. They'll be there. That you just might not recognize them, or they might be answers to questions you haven't even had yet. But as you move along, you'll likely run into a lot of those questions and have need a lot of those answers. So always go through your training programs, view the material, get comfortable with what it is, understand it. You don't have to be an expert on any of it. What you have to do is you have to know how to go and find the answer out of all of that material to answer your specific question at the time. And there's really only one way to do that, and that is just be familiar with the subject, with the training. And some places you've got a lot of stuff to go through, but fortunately most of it is broken down to at least categories or areas. So if you have an area, a specific area you have a question in, go back and check that. And even if you've already seen it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, go over it again, because if you didn't have that question in your mind at the time that you saw that information, then it's a good chance it just didn't stick, that it's still there. And now that you have this question in your mind, you will search through it again and you'll find the answer. And it's always been there, and you will have, like me, seen it 2 or 3 times before. It just wasn't relevant at the time, so it wasn't something that stuck in our brain. Now, there's one other way people try to go get answers to their questions, and this is something that, well, I suggest you never do this. Well, here's why. A lot of times people will go to forums. Yeah, forums are great, and I have nothing against forums. I'm a member of several. I go there, I look, I see things, but I see this happening all over the place on all kinds of different forums and groups and whatever, is somebody will come on and they'll say, who else is having a problem with whatever? And then all of a sudden you follow on that thread, and if you watch it a while, you'll see people just piling onto that thread, and I am, and all kinds of people were, answering the question with worthless information. Really, do you need to know how many other people are having that problem? Because you ask that question on that forum, who else is having this problem, and you've instantly pushed out all of the people who don't have that problem, and those are the ones that are going to have the answers you need. You've instantly attracted everybody else that is having that same problem, and if they're having that problem, it's pretty obvious that they haven't found the answer to that problem yet either. So whatever you do, don't go on and just start asking who else is having this problem. It's just going to wind up not helping you at all. Needed some drink there, and just attracting a whole bunch of problems. It's a no-win situation, really. I mean, you may get lucky. You may just get lucky, and somebody who has the answer to that happens to see that question and happens to go on that thread and happens to give you an answer. And even then, if you've got 100 people chiming in of all of their problems, and you got one person that comes in with the answer, how are you going to be able to sift that answer out of all of everybody else? I mean, you'll have to read every response to the thread. And I mean, if you're at all like me, you don't have time to read every answer to every thread on every forum that you go to. So use forums. They're great, but if you're going to use it, what I would suggest is ask a better question. You ask a better question, you'll get a better answer. Don't ask who else is having that problem, because all you're going to get is a bunch of people having the same problem. Now you might ask who has or how someone has resolved that problem, and you might get an answer. But again, even then, boy, with forums, you flip a coin. You have no idea whether you're getting a good answer or whether you're getting an answer from somebody who is just wants to feel like they're saying something, and they haven't really found an answer to the problem that you're talking about. The best skill I would ever suggest anybody who's doing this practice is going through any of the training material that you have and finding a specific answer, because that's the way it's going to work. You're going to have to go through it again and again and again. Every time you have a question, you're going to have to go to the area that's about that subject, and you're going to have to find the answer. It's there. It really is. All you have to do is look for it, and don't tell yourself, well, I've read this a dozen times and it's not there. You might have read this a dozen times, but if you didn't have that specific question in your mind when you were going through it, chances are you just glanced right over the answer because your brain wasn't looking for that. You had no need of that information at that time. Go over it again when you need the information, and you'll find it. It's there. It's just the way it works. You see what you need to see, and you just ignore what you don't need to see. So you have probably looked at the answer. If you're at all like me and you go through everything at least once, you've probably already seen the answer to just about every question that you'll have. You just don't know that they're the answers yet because you haven't had those questions. And when you have those questions, you could have looked at the answer weeks and months ago. But knowing where to go find the answer is the most important thing you'll ever learn how to do. So remember, the answer's there. There are very few questions that don't have an answer. Ask the right question and look for the right answer. So if you ask the right question and you look in the right area, you'll get the right answer and you'll move on. I hope this helps. If you have anything to say, leave a comment down below. You can click the like button. You can subscribe to my channel. I have other videos. You might be interested in them, and I'll be adding more. I hope you all have a great day.